Following the events of Civil War, young Peter Parker is instructed by Tony Stark to lay low until the Avengers need him. But when a new villain threatens to bring harm to the ones closest to him, Peter must prove that he is worthy enough to be the Spider-Man, not only to Tony and the Avengers, but to himself as well. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Odie here with a review of Spider-Man Homecoming. If you thought Spidey in Civil War was dope, you'll be happy to know that his first standalone movie in the MCU does not disappoint. So first, let's start off with what I liked. I feel like Tom Holland, unlike the other Spider-Men, is able to perfectly capture what we love about the character. He's able to kick ass and hang with the big dogs, but in the end of the day, he's just a kid. He can clear out a whole room of thugs and stop a robbery in its tracks. But after the end of the day, he's still got some homework to do. And that's what I really like about the character. And Tom Holland brings that character to life perfectly. Another thing I loved was Michael Keaton as Vulture. Dude, man. They made him like way better now. Like he's a cross of Green Goblin meets Dr. Octopus. Tell me why I remember Vulture looking a little bit something like this. Just some old dude in a green bird looking costume. Well, that's not how I remember him now. This movie completely makes Vulture just badass. Like, I didn't think I'd like him. And I have to say, he's probably one of the better villains, if not the best villain in Marvel movies so far, or that we've had in a while. His motivations for what he's doing is more or less believable, and he's overall an interesting character. I don't want to give too much away, but I think they did a good job with him. Because Spider-Man is already, well, Spider-Man, there's no need to be retreading any of the same ground. There's no need for origin story nonsense. No Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, no death of Uncle Ben. Like, none of that stuff is in this movie. Not even Harry Osborn or Oscorp or none of that. Like, and I think that's to the movie's benefit. Because of this, the movie is free to show us stuff that we haven't necessarily seen before. The movie as a whole seems like it has a great amount of confidence, like it knows exactly what story it wants to tell, it knows exactly what to do. Like Spider-Man suits up and starts doing his thing within a couple minutes into the movie. It's a nice change of pace from the other Marvel movies that have to take time establishing the character and the motivation and their powers and all that crap. The movie hits the ground running and doesn't stop. The new Spidey suit 2.0 is really cool. There are a few new tricks under the hood considering that it's made by Tony Stark. Speaking of, I thought Iron Man was cool. He was a cool addition. One of my fears going into the movie was that it was going to be the Iron Man show, basically. Considering the trailers kind of was alluding to that being the case, I was a little bit afraid, but it's not. Iron Man is used sparingly, and this is still Spider-Man's movie through and through. But when Iron Man does show up, it's pretty friggin' badass. I mean, it's one thing to have Spider-Man cameo in Civil War, but just thinking about Iron Man and all those other heroes existing within Spider-Man's world is just, and just seeing these interactions, it's crazy. Like, it's just, like 5-10 years ago, you would never think Iron Man would be mentoring Spider-Man. Like, it's just crazy, and it works, and it's cool, and it's badass, and it's every bit as awesome as you think it is. Peter getting detention and getting lectured by these super old disciplinary tapes made by Captain America. Freaking the fact that Peter has to learn about the Sokovia Accords in his government class. The fact that they're not in a rush with Peter in terms of his age, because he's like 15 in this movie, so they're not trying to quickly get him out of high school. There's plenty of stories to tell within the high school setting. Like, why was Sony so quick to get his ass up out of there? After seeing this movie, I can't wait to see what Marvel, and I guess Sony, what they do with the sequels, man. I just can't wait to see where it goes. You guys, I honestly can't find anything wrong with this movie. I mean, if I were to nitpick and really try to find a negative, which it would just be a nitpick, I'd say I wish one of my favorite lines of the movie was kind of spoiled in the trailer. I'm going to paraphrase it for the sake of if you guys haven't heard it. But it goes along the lines of, if you're nothing without your suit, then you probably shouldn't have it. I feel like that really parallels Tony's own past, which makes this movie's timing that much more meaningful, which makes their mentor relationship that much more interesting. Alright guys, if you haven't already guessed, Spider-Man Homecoming has got to be easily the best Spider-Man movie to date, and rest assured you are not going to see the same kind of Spider-Man movie you're used to. Spider-Man is sweet. The Vulture was menacing and surprisingly deep, The action is exciting, and of course, there's lots of humor in there. And man, that end credit scene, boy, stick around for that one. That's why I'm giving Spider-Man Homecoming a 5 out of 5. And I would see it in IMAX. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you go ahead and give it a like down below. And if you want to see more reviews like this, go ahead and subscribe. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.